Well, folks, the party is over. That American dream that you work so hard to achieve. So in the Bible, there's this passage in Genesis about Joseph and his dreams. So Joseph, as you know, the background was a child that was thrown away by his family, only to find himself after 13 years as the head of state, pretty much the prime minister of Pharaoh. But before that, what he said to the king had a dream. So it's not Joseph's dream, but it was the king's dream. And talked about 7 fat cows and 7 skinny cows. Now, the fat cows are the years of prosperity, the years that you work hard and fill up your storehouses, your grains, your everything. That's 7 years of just prosperity. And the skinny cows are 7 years of being hungry, where there's nothing that's producing anything that you want, like money or whatever. But there is a warning in the Bible with how you steward through what God has given you. So in your youth, you steward things like building yourself up in God, building your neighbor up in God. And then there's times that happen like we see now with all the events that are taking place. 7 years of skinny. So all this to just say, biblical reference to, there are times, and Ecclesiastes says that too. I know I'm a rambler. Ecclesiastes talks about there's a time for everything. Would you imagine that, like, maybe we're entering a time where it's the skinny cow time? Skinny cows time. I'm not saying 7 years. I'm not putting any meaning into anything. I'm just saying there are times where you're prosperous, and there's times when you are going through things, and maybe this is just one of those times. It just happened so fast. Where were you? Let's say November 2019. Where were you? What were you thinking about? Did you think that this would happen? Did you think that you would be in this crazy world of a global pandemic, and then chaos in the streets and division? This thing is crazy, guys. Like, we have to think about it really through scripture. And I'm processing this with you guys as we're looking into what the future would be. It just causes me to go back to the scriptures, to go back to understanding the foundational principles of why we're here on this planet. And I found mine to be going back to just reality and the truth. And the media is not giving me that, that's for sure. All I can see is just events. On a normal day before this, I would just wake up in the morning, and my first thing would be to turn on my computer or my phone or whatever and kind of see what's going on Facebook or Yahoo or Google or whatever news source, it doesn't matter. I would just go and see what's going on. Of course, I have my prayer time before that and all that. Sometimes I don't because I'm human and I'm broken. I should always go to my scripture, and I'm encouraging you to do that. But like, there was a time where you just got up and like, oh, well, today is just a regular day, and you go about your day. And for those of us who are parents and married, and we just, first thing we think about is our families and what we're gonna do. And okay, so the kids need breakfast, and oh yeah, a tire, and the car is, we need to so you have all these things in the back of you, but you never thought that you would wake up in 2020 and have all of this going on. Those were the years of the fat cows when you had everything. Well, you complained about things, and I complained about things, and we complained about just the daily little things, nuisances. But there's a I'm gonna teach you some Ethiopian right now. The language is Amharic, and there's a word in Amharic, and the word is guskulana. Guskulana is a word that is like the lowest form of poverty that possibly could happen to you. Guskulana is like those eyes, the eyes that you see on somebody who's truly afflicted by poverty and just they're so poor, so afraid, and so on the street. And I've seen this in Africa. I've seen that in America too, a lot. But there's those eyes of the guy when you roll down your window, who's looking at you with those eyes. He's not trying to cheat you. It's not like those fast people who, okay, I'm gonna get your money and go get drugs. I'm just gonna look poor. There's this look in people's eyes. Some people who are really at the bottom, really, really in dire, to where the only thing they could do and muster up to do is to go knock on somebody's window at a stop sign or a stoplight. There's that. Those are the years of the skinny cows. That could happen. I'm a rambler, so I'm going to ramble, but I'm just trying to see and process with you what those years could look like. Now, I'm not saying that those years are upon us, but that was just something for us to reflect on. Just it is possible that we get there, or we could get to a place cancer, or just the eventual loss of a loved one, or just world disaster. So if you think about it, think about the First World War. And here's another thing I'm going to teach you today. And forgive me, but I love etymology. There's a word in French, déclencher. So how do I explain déclencher in English? Or in American? The word is trigger. The First World War was triggered by a simple little thing. Simple little event to one man. Franz Ferdinand. Franz Ferdinand, if you know anything about history or if you care, was just a simple dude. He got killed by one bullet, and it déclenché or triggered World War I. See, world events Just start with simple little tiny details, tiny things, tiny events that happen and that affect millions and billions of people, I would say, even because we still see the effects of World War I. We still see the effects of World War II. We still see the conversation of what happened. It still shapes the world. Little things happen. But all I want to say is that we need to be aware and understand what these things mean for us and for our children. I understand that I'm pretty doomful as I'm speaking right now, but I'm waking up to the thing that history is repeating itself. We haven't had really like a real world crisis since the Second World War, a real one. Now 911 was bad, but like this is global, guys. This is something that's changed the face of the world. Think about it. I don't have any solutions for you right now, but what I have is just my perspective and my just thinking of what is the future holding for us, for our families, for the future of this planet. Things are hard. If you're a thinking person, then this is the podcast for you. If and how do I say this in a nice way? If you're blind, then you'll be blind. But I want to encourage you to do this one thing. If you're a believer in the Messiah, all the answers are in the books, or the book, the Bible. We'll expand more into all of these things that are happening as we go through scripture. That's the only way I know how to do it, is read with you and grow with you. And of course, I'd like your comments and your feedback, and you can call me crazy, but call me crazy in love with the Messiah, Jesus Christ, the King of Kings.